Oh, you damn right. There's a house divided to do on a Tuesday. Dabo Sweeney told the media this week that they're going to go with who they've got. Not everybody's 100%. He bet that not everybody's 100% at Texas. Well, this guy's not 100% today, but he's going. He's going to give you what he's got for you Anita Baker fans out there. It's house divided on a Tuesday. I'm Chad Hastings, and that guy is Jeff Ketchum of orangebloods.com. He's here because there's portal news to talk about. He's here because Texas has a playoff game. And damn it, he's here because he loves you. Mr. Ketchum, I'm not going to say how you feeling because I know the overall answer, but hello, sir.
Surviving. S-U-R-V-I-N. Surviving.
Even an apostrophe. We'll put one of those there. Oh, my Lord.
It's just one of those. If this was like July, you could just say, oh, he's taking an extended July 4th weekend or something like that.
No, man, I always say you're one of the hardest working guys out there. You even busted your ass to get a 10 thoughts from the weekend out yesterday, even though you were sick. So I'm glad to see you.
I slurred my way through that one. I didn't even ask Jason to proofread it. I was the people are going to get the flu game, catch them, and this is what it looks like.
I was reading through it, and I was like, this is kind of the slurred speech version of 10 Thoughts, but hey, it is what it is. So we'll get as much info for the people as we can from you today on this Tuesday. But there is a lot going on, and I think we need to start with portal stuff. I certainly talked about Eric Singleton yesterday, the Georgia Tech receiver. He had a busy weekend. He was scheduled to have a busy Monday in Austin. That ended up not happening, but I think he's going to end up having a busy Tuesday maybe in town. Let's get everybody the update here on the Georgia Tech receiver.
Well, it sounds like he's in Austin for an official visit. And, I'm not being told no by anybody. I was talking to somebody very briefly because I haven't been talking to hardly anybody at all lately. But I reached out to a couple of people. And it seems like there's a pool of money, and that whatever the Longhorn coaches want to do with that money, I think they've been kind of given the green light to do so. So if they wanted Eric Singleton by any means necessary, I think the means are there. It's not like the money's not there. No, there are implications of what it would mean to give it Eric Singleton the money that Eric Singleton is demanding on the open market. But if he's the best of the best in Texas, and I really do think one of the things, I used to have a buddy like this. Every time like a new He-Man action figure would come out, it's back when I was like a kid, he'd be the first one to have like the new and improved Castle Grayskull.
Oh, yeah.
All of us other ones would have like the ghetto Castle Grayskulls that the drawbridge didn't work.
Yeah.
And you really couldn't do a whole lot with it. It'd start falling apart. But every year they'd make like a newer version of it. It was the thing to get. And us poor kids, we got by on like our old Castle Grayskulls. I had one friend in particular, though. Didn't matter whether it was Snake Mountain. It didn't matter whether it was Castle Grayskull. It didn't matter if Tila had a Barbie hut that came out. I don't know. I know this dude always made a point to have it. I feel like Texas, I think Steve Sarkisian's got a little bit of that in him, that if you're going to be Texas and you're going to flex and you have the ability to do so, then do so. And I think that's kind of where we are right now. Texas has a lot of things that they're still shopping for. There are defensive tackles that they remain interested in, that offers are out to, that they haven't gotten final words back in. I think the kid from Central Florida is a kid that is weighing a Texas offer, in the sense that I have on that situation is that it could be Texas or it could be he stays home at Central Florida. So we're in a little bit of a wait and see era. I spoke with an agent, texted. Believe me, I ain't speaking to a goddamn person if I don't have to. I had a guy text me, and I put this on Orange Bloods because it may be the funniest quote of the entire. I know it's December 17th, Chad.
Yep.
So it's a late edition for possible quote of the year.
Yeah.
Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Quote. This is from an agent.
Okay.
All any of us want for Christmas is for is for Texas to be interested in our kids. Even if all that happens is a visit gets scheduled that is never taken, it means hundreds of thousands to these kids and their families. Texas football is our Christmas angel, end quote.
Wow. Texas football is our Christmas angel?
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Now, he said it with one of those, like, there were like 3 laughing emojis behind it, but that was the quote. And, you know, it speaks to, I think, the weight that Texas carries in college football right now, but certainly on the NIL scene. And for a guy like the receiver from Georgia Tech who's on campus right now, it just doesn't hurt to be visiting Texas, period. There's nothing bad can come out of that kid visiting Texas for himself. Does it mean Texas gets the kid? No. Does it mean that if that kid's been trying to draw a certain amount of money, and if anybody's been hedging at all, Texas is the entity that can seemingly get a little bit more out of a few more pennies out of the couch cushion across the country, if you will.
Yeah, the NIL, tide that raises all boats, right? That rising tide. If Texas is interested, it changes things. And this particular guy catch is interesting, and I laid it out yesterday. The timing of it. Lane, you always talk about don't let the kid get off your campus, right? In transfer portal stuff. Well, Lane Kiffin let him get out of Oxford, and then he got in and out of Miami. And yesterday it was supposed to be Austin. So unless there's a visit, I'll be honest, I don't know if there's a LSU or Auburn trip coming, but this kid's got a top 5, and it's those 5 schools. Do we get a sense that this is the last say goes to Sark today on this Tuesday, and Eric Singleton's about to decide?
Possibly. I don't know enough of the ins and outs of that kid's situation and what he's aiming for to part of this is just me having had the flu since Friday. Mm-hmm. I haven't. I'm just getting by on fumes. Yeah. But it certainly could. I think what's interesting is that when you look at the 3 kids that Texas has signed from the portal so far, none of them got off campus without leaving as Longhorns. Whether it was Brad Spence, the linebacker at Arkansas, or it was the Jack Boomeister punter that we talked about on Friday, or the defensive lineman from Purdue. All those guys visited. All those guys leave as Longhorns. And if there's a guy that you'd point to and say, well, show us an example of what happens when it doesn't go that way, I think you look at the tight end from Purdue. Mm-hmm. Doesn't leave campus as a Longhorn, is taking additional visits. And it doesn't mean that situation is dead, but it feels like that gets a little further and further and a little more distant from Texas with every new trip he takes. We'll see. But I think the roadmap on this is pretty simple. You want to get a guy on campus. You want to close the door. You don't want him going someplace else. And this kid's made a number of visits before coming to Texas. I think if Texas wants to get him, they can. It really comes down to whether or not Texas wants to extend themselves to such a large degree, because as we mentioned last week, to pay that kid, let's say $1.5 million, it does, and it would change the cost of roster retention moving forward. But then again, the elephant in the room is that might be happening no matter what. That let's say you're Anthony Hill, let's say you're Malik Muhammad, let's say you're Colin Simmons. Pick anybody other than Arch, because Arch apparently doesn't need anything. Mm-hmm. But pick any of the best players on this Texas roster, and let's say this past season they made somewhere between like $750 in NIL money this year. Now, you can be unwilling to go into the portal to spend more than that amount on any given guy. But all of those players, A, have agents and B, have eyeballs. And if they're seeing players at their positions who are starting to make more money in NIL elsewhere, and well, they're going to want it too. So I think that one of the things that maybe Texas, I haven't had this told to me. It's not like someone has said, well, we're damned if we do and damned if we don't. So we might as well go YOLO and just spend whatever we can. Haven't had anybody say that. But I also haven't had anybody tell me that all 85 players on the Texas roster can only read Braille. And there are no Braille magazines that update the comings and goings of college football players in the NIL market. They're all watching. They all know guys. They all have former teammates. And, it's not a union, but it's the closest thing to a union without dues. These guys all know each other. It's the concept of, well, when Texas and Texas A&M get on the field, all the guys know each other. They played on the same high school teams. Well, look, all these dudes know Micah Hudson. They will all know what Micah Hudson got from Texas A&M. So Texas A&M will have to deal with that on its own roster. But the tentacles of that is that any wide receiver who thinks he's worth a damn at all and had a better season, well, if Micah Hudson's getting that much money, that's how much I want. And so it's a very unsteady footing that I think everybody is standing on. But, I think there's a lot of moving parts right now.
We got some super chats that have come in. We'll start digging through that. First off, let's just get a kind word for Catch coming in from Deborah. Thank you, Deborah. Catch, it will take another week to really feel good. But as much as I love all the Orange Bloods guys, Anwar, Chad, Alex, Cody, you have been missed. Get well soon. Oh, sorry. Get well soon. That's some exclamation points at the end.
Oh, hey, just dial it down.
Okay. See, you asked me to do it, but then
no, but not on Get Wells.
I know. All right, Get Well.
Sound like the Kraken.
Fantastic. That's fair. It's totally fair. Let's clean this one up from Clint. $5. Chad did great yesterday flying solo. Any word on the home field stuff where the logo possibly missing at the 50 and Clemson getting their video shown? Clint, I did look into it a little bit. I think all the logo stuff is fine. They're going to have a CFP logo somewhere on the field. I'm assuming like an alternating 25-yard line kind of thing. Clemson does get a video if they want it. Clemson can have an entrance video on the board, and whatever song they would want, whatever they come into at home, they can come into that in DKR. So that's not my favorite part, but doesn't sound like it'll get too extreme. It's not going to feel too much like a basketball tournament. You still get your logos. You still get the drone show from what we understand, but lights will not click on and off after touchdowns. You can't do that part. So everybody that does the LED show, don't ask why. That doesn't make sense to me, but that'll be a little bit different. So that's what I found out for you, Clint, after the discussion came up yesterday about NCAA fairness in a CFP game. All right.
Have an opinion on that?
Sure.
I kind of like it.
You kind of like that they allow Clemson to have something?
Yeah, it's different than any other home game experience that Texas will ever played in. Yeah, let Clemson come out and play their video. I think it's cool. I think it would be cool.
I think the band needs to play them out, and that's fine. If you get a home game, it's a home game. Like, I mean, we shouldn't treat the visiting team different in these games, to me. But hopefully,
not treating them different, Chad. It's treating them special.
Oh, I see. Special because they're
plus it's Christmas.
I see. I see. It's
yes about it.
I will not be the football Grinch about it. Yeah, let's not do that. This one also came in from S. Roan, one of our favorites. $5. Now that Bijan crossed 1,000 last night, how about that? 6 Texas running backs have had at least one 1,000-yard rushing yards season in the NFL. All right, there you go. Thank you, S. Roan.
Can you name them all off the top of your head, Chad?
Okay.
Shouldn't be hard.
6 Texas running backs have had at least 1,000-yard season in the NFL. So that means it's now Bijan, Earl, Ricky, got to be Priest Holmes, right? Priest got to have 1,000. 2 more. Who am I missing? Metcalf wouldn't have had 1,000 in the NFL, would he? Benson? Cedric? No, not quite 1,000 maybe?
Maybe. There's a super obvious one that you're missing.
Who am I missing? Jonathan Brooks hadn't been there long.
National championship team.
No, Jamal Charles. Duh. Sorry. Yes, Jamal, and then
that guy.
The other one's not popping in my head. Who's the other one?
It's got to be Sid. Sid had to have.
Yeah, no, I said Benson, right? Yeah, I would have. That was my guess. I just can't. I'd have to go look at his stats of did he get to 1,000 in one of those years. Sid was on some not great NFL teams, obviously.
Well, his career wasn't great, but he had 1 year. I want to say with the Packers, where they just used him as a sledgehammer.
Okay.
And yeah, Sid had 3 1,000-yard seasons.
Oh, very nice. Okay.
All with the Bengals.
Bengals. Okay.
That my memory sucks because the 1 year he had with the Packers, they ran his ass into the ground. He only lasted 5 weeks.
Fair enough. S. Roan, thank you for that little trivia, and congrats to Bijan for hitting 1,000 yards. Very cool. One other super chat to clean off from this first batch, $4.99. Catch, thoughts on Lee Hunter as a player? Do you view him as a home run replacement for Collins/Broughton, or is he less than that? His stats are good. I'm assuming this is the UCF guy you're talking about? Would that, or is this a different guy?
Yeah, I mean, he's talking about the UCF defensive tackle.
Right.
Look, man, if he was all of that, he'd just go to the NFL. I mean, that's what all that defensive linemen do. I think he's a good player. I think that he would absolutely be a value next season. I hesitate to put him in the same breath of players that I think at this moment are better than him. But what we do know about Texas defensive tackles, and Michael, this would be the thing that I think should give everybody a lot of hope, is that a guy like Lee Hunter would probably play his best football at Texas. The one thing that we continue to see from Texas is that they've had these guys who are kind of duds. And I won't go so far as to say, I don't think that's what Tavondre Sweat was, because he was playing and he went from pretty good to star. And Byron Murphy was always ascending. But I think you can look at Vernon Broughton and Alfred Collins are 2 really good examples. Those guys were generally viewed as busts coming into this season, and they had 1 year left to kind of make things right. And they did. Kenny Baker got great seasons out of them. And I'm sure that when they're talking to guys like Lee Hunter, they're telling them that, look, come here, let us develop you, stay for a year or 2, make a bunch of money. I think that that's the sales pitch. I just wouldn't go so crazy and say, oh, yeah, Lee Hunter, first team all SEC next year. Don't think that I'm planting that seed.
Michael, thank you for that super chat. Again, Catch playing hurt for us today. We appreciate that as he battles through the flu. Thank y'all for these super chats. We will get to that. Real quick, let's thank a couple of our great partners here, and we'll just play the game. Where are you watching the game? If you need a place to come watch the game, we got an idea for you, and it is TCH Social Austin. Yep, we're back out there for 2 shades of orange, those 2 quarterbacks. And remember, the beer specials start at 2 o'clock, $1 draft, $2 jellyfish. And as I've told you, one of our chatters has donated $20 to get 20 of you a free draft beer. All you have to do is find me starting at 2 o'clock and just yell out Stella, and I'll get you $1 and you'll get a free draft beer.
Stella!
Stella! That's how it works. TCH Social Austin. There's a shot of that last watch party. Come get the Bad Beat Bacon. Come try some of the other great food. And as I've mentioned, we're going to plan to be watching it all. All right. If you're an NFL fan, do not fret. We'll make sure those NFL games are on. The Texans game first, then Steelers and Ravens. I don't ever miss Steelers and Ravens when they get together. We'll have both of the college playoff games on, the Penn State game that starts at 11, and of course, Texas and Clemson at 3. You know what else I'll do for you? You love your Texas high school football? We got 2 Austin area teams fighting for a state title on Saturday. Vandergrift Vipers, Westlake Chaparrals. We'll make sure they're both up there on the screen as well.
Stella.
Social Austin, Stella. Now, so come join us this Saturday. Now, on the other hand, if you're one of those folks that loves to hang out at your place and watch the games, but you know you might need a good setup, check out some AV consultations here. Tom's going to show you and remind you about all the stuff they can do for you.
Stella.
Stella. Even if you want to watch some Stella, here you go.
Hi, this is Tom McKay, owner of Audiovisual Consultations, and all of us at Audiovisual would like to wish you and your family a happy holiday season. This time of year can get a little hectic, so we want to remind you to relax, enjoy the season with your family and friends, and give us a call at 512-255-8678 for all of your home entertainment needs. This is my favorite time of the year. I love the holidays, the music, the decorations, the presents, the whole darn thing. So this year I'm asking all you listeners to help make this a special holiday for everyone. Smiles are contagious and free, so let's give them away like the government gives away your money. Let's high-five strangers on the street, hold the door for people behind us, tip your servers more than they've ever been tipped before. Give to a charity, or hell, give to a bunch of charities. If someone does a good job, tell them they did a good job. Pat someone on the butt. Sing in public places just because it feels good. And as always, hug your kids until they beg you to stop. Watch some games with your friends and make love to your wife or your husband. I know there's some women listening too. You can still give us a call at 512-255-8678 if you'd like to get some cool electronics, but more importantly, have a great holiday season and a
All right, before we get back to Super Chats, there's Rex throwing those 6 names up again in case you missed that. 6 Longhorn running backs that have gotten 1,000 at some point in the NFL. Bijan joins that list. Also, a good clarification from David, who heard us talk about it and thought for the longest time that the bacon was actually made out of beets. Now, David, the Austin area is known for health sometimes and inventive foods, but the Bad Beat bacon is in fact bacon. It is not made out of beets. Bad beat is like a betting thing. When you're playing cards or something, or maybe you're betting on a game, bad beat, something happens bad at the end.
David has not been listening to us.
No, the Bad Beat bacon. Not EE, but EA. All right. A couple other super chats here. We got Catch's thoughts on Lee Hunter. How about this
real
one?
Quick on Lee Hunter.
Yeah.
Because I think context matters a lot of times when we're having this discussion. Is Lee Hunter ready for the NFL? Clearly not. But, if you just, for nothing else, look at the all Big 12 teams. Most of the best defensive linemen in the Big 12, at least if you go by the all Big 12 teams, they're all graduating seniors. As a matter of fact, I looked it up. Here were the all Big 12 defensive line, not candidates because they made it. Mm-hmm. Honorees. You had Tyler Beatty from BYU, senior. You had BJ Green, Colorado, senior. You had Brandon Mott, Kansas State, senior. You had TJ Jackson, West Virginia, senior. I love this kid's name. You had Dante Corleone from Cincinnati.
Nice.
Junior. But with all due respect to Dante Corleone, everybody else on that list is seniors. They're all gone. So it's not like you could automatically shop at the first team all conference store, right? It's a little harder to do than you would think. When you go to the second team, that's where you find a guy like Lee Hunter. And in fact, there's a number of players on this list that, you've got a sophomore and a redshirt junior and a redshirt junior. And so I think Texas is shopping from the best stores that they can. And so I think if Texas can pull a Lee Hunter, he's a really good player. He somewhat reminds me of The cat that was at Houston last year that ended up signing with Oregon.
Okay. Caldwell?
Jamari Caldwell.
There it is. Yeah.
He's got a little bit of that vibe.
Okay.
In that, not likely ever to be a first-round draft pick, but a guy that, if he keeps on keeping on, has got a chance to be an NFL player. And if you can get that version of him for one season at your school, now you're cooking with grease a little bit.
There you go. All right, Catch. David threw us a $5 super chat to clean up this next batch. Everyone covering the CFP says the same thing. More arch. Can we get a Catch breakdown on the overall offensive decline in scoring the past 4 games?
No, man. You guys have heard it from me. We have reached a point. We have reached a point where Quinn Ewers has played. Well, I gotta watch my mouth, or the masses will. I'm not in a pitchfork kind of mood.
Yeah, I didn't think you would be. For me, David, I wouldn't agree that everyone covering the CFP is saying that. If they're all saying more arts, they need to be saying something else. More run game. Why can't it just be Quinn play better? And Quinn play better, but they also need to find a way to run the ball. Texas can't block Georgia very well.
Texas needs Georgia. Man, it reminds me of Over the Top, the arm wrestling movie.
I've now seen it, yes.
Sometimes you just got to stay away from Bull Hurley.
Right. Bad matchups, bad brackets.
Now, look, Lincoln Hawk eventually beat Bull Hurley. But if they did that thing 100 times, Bull Hurley would have broken Lincoln Hawk's body at least 75 times.
I still don't know why it wasn't a true double elimination. I'm still confused. Still thoroughly confused at the end of that movie.
To me, Texas is Lincoln Hawk. They're a legitimate contender.
Yeah.
Rightfully in the Final Four. They took out Harry Bosco from the Teamsters. But they need Bull Hurley to be on the other side of the bracket, which Georgia is. And now they need somebody else to take out Georgia. Let someone else do that.
I think that is a fair way to say
what will happen at the end of this, Chad, if Texas gets to the final and they beat Penn State for the national championship and they don't have to go through Georgia? Do you know what they call that?
The national champion?
Yeah, it doesn't come with an asterisk.
Yeah. See, like I'm a big tennis fan. That's the beauty of like certain tennis tournaments. There are years where you go, well, who won the U.S. Open? That guy. Well, did he beat that? Well, no, but he won it. Like he beat the people in front of him. She beat the people that were there. So if the nemesis gets beat in the semis, that's not your business. Your business is play whoever's in front of you.
All you can do is play who they put in front of you.
That's it. They're going to schedule the match and send somebody to the other side of the court. Texas just probably doesn't want to see those Bulldogs at this point. Our man Oscar jumps in, Catch, with a $9.99 super chat. Why is Oklahoma so excited about their new quarterback when he has no one to play with on offense? There are a lot of dudes transferring out of Oklahoma.
Oscar, we tell ourselves the things that we need to tell ourselves so that when we put our head on a pillow at night, we can sleep. Oklahoma football is trash right now.
Who's the quarterback?
They're not going to make a bowl game next year. The talent that they're going to have on the field won't be better next year than it was this year. They are in serious decline from a personnel standpoint. And we're going to get to the point. I just mark my words, guys. They're going to end up signing a bunch of dudes off of rosters. It's going to be like, hey, this guy from Eastern Washington caught 12 passes last year. He's supposed to be really fast. He's definitely better than Brennan Thompson. That's the stuff that Oklahoma fans are going to do.
Yeah.
They're just going to start making shit up.
So this quarterback Oscar's referencing, out of the portal or out of the 25 class? I don't know who he's talking about. Did they just get a portal quarterback?
Yeah, they got a portal quarterback who just blah.
Okay, gotcha.
But you got to do what you got to do. Look, they are.
Yeah.
You know, let me tell you what happens, man.
Oh man, Craig That's well played. Just well played. Well done.
When you bought it, Sooner fans are like the people that bought tickets to the Titanic. The Titanic is not a terrible metaphor for their football program right now. What happens is people start scurrying off the ship, and some of those people got themselves on the safety boats. Oklahoma football fans right now are trying to convince themselves that the safety boat, it's exactly the same thing as the Titanic. What's the problem? The problem they will find, they just have nothing going for them. Brent Venables is dead man walking. That schedule, which we never had a chance, Chad, to go through schedules. Oh, man. I feel like somebody, remember back in the day when Barry Switzer would sleep with his assistant coach's wives?
Vaguely, yeah.
And it'd be like, oh, Larry Lacewell, why are you still hanging out with Barry? He always had an answer. I feel like I think maybe Barry fucked somebody at the SEC.
Whoa, man.
Allegedly.
Whoa.
And they do not forgive.
Goodness.
Because that stuff goes around in Norman.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, hey, is that your wife? Well, since I'm the head coach, she's my wife. It's a very open kind of very new age way of looking at things. They've been doing this since the 70s. I think Oklahoma came into the SEC and they went to their first set of SEC meetings and somebody's wife got bopped. And somebody got found out, and Oklahoma is never going to catch a favor ever again. It's never going to happen. Consequently, every good player they have is leaving. I had a source on Saturday. How about this? You want me to? I'll give you the moment of the show, okay?
All right, here it is. The catch flu source story. Come on.
I have a Texas source that refuses to believe that Michael Fasusi shows up on campus. He thinks by the time they get to the first or second week of January, he will ask out of his letter of intent.
Oh, my goodness. Okay.
That what he is signed up for, because you got to think about it like this. Remember, Fasusi watched that team lose a bunch of games, started to have doubts. They beat Alabama. He was like, oh, cool. I think my doubts are gone. When he didn't sign his letter of intent in blood. He has eyeballs. Like I said, none of these kids are reading these updates in Braille. They can all see. And every single guy that would have recruited him to Oklahoma is jumping off the ship. And like I said, I'm not predicting it. I'm just telling you, I had somebody tell me they would be shocked if that kid doesn't end up asking out of his letter of intent, that what he signed up for in December is not what exists in January. And that's the whole purpose of these kids being able to get out of their letter of intent if needed, because too many times these kids get the okie doke played on them.
Oscar adds on a $4.99 super chat. Thank you, Oscar. To further that point, Catch, if their O-line coach is so legit, why does he keep losing everyone to the portal? They losing O-line guys too?
I can't keep up. It's like they've lost like 520 people.
They've lost a lot, Oscar.
I would need to go count. They're in the 20s, I'm pretty sure. Because when people aren't happy, nobody's happy. When you go 6-6 and you struggle like they did, there's not like a magical position group that's like, well, I don't know about them running backs, but us O-linemen, we're going to Sizzler every Tuesday and we're having a good time over here. Like, that's not how it typically happens. I think Benball's an exceptional head coach, So OU fans get mad at me because they try to make it seem like I wasn't trying to give that guy his flowers. And anybody that's ever watched us do a show knows I have an immense amount of respect for that for that guy.
Mhm.
He's been very successful. My nitpick of him was that in his career, he'd only signed a few elite of the elite offensive line prospects ever, and none of those guys ever made it 4 years at Oklahoma. It's not a huge sample size, but I can look at a guy like Kyle Flood and go, he only signed one super blue chip when he was at Rutgers. By the way, do not community note me. I'm about to say something awful. Somewhere between an MF and a CS almost came out of my mouth. He signed Anthony Davis, who was a high 4-star prospect back in the day at Rutgers. Guess what? He went on to be a first-round draft pick. Forget about everything that he did at Alabama or Kelvin Banks and anything that he's ever done at Texas. Kyle Flood, from the very moment he really kind of got his career going, kind of has made a specialty of turning super elite prospects into NFL players. That doesn't mean that Bedenbaugh doesn't turn guys into NFL players. It just means he has no record of taking a player like Kelvin Banks or Anthony Davis or Alex Leatherwood or any of those big monsters that he worked with at Alabama. It's just a slightly different discussion. But it doesn't mean he's a bad offensive line coach. It just means that maybe, I think the worry would be maybe he's got a little Joe Wickline in him where every time you get the more talented guy you gave Wickline, the more mean and like, he's just a mean old cuss to everybody. And those guys typically need the junkyard dogs, and maybe not guys like Joe Wickline would not do well with an offensive tackle making $1 million.
No.
Maybe Bedenbaugh will be fine. Maybe Fasusi will be the first. At which point, OU fans, you'll never hear me say that again. But if Fasusi goes there and it doesn't work out, Chad.
Yeah.
What words do you think are going to come out of my mouth?
Maybe I told you so.
I hadn't even thought of that. I don't like to do the I told you so. I just like to say I'm right.
Well, yeah, that. I mean,
I don't want to make it about others.
I see. Okay.
Those shitheads. I don't want to give them their.
You want to be right. You were right. Yeah.
I just want it to be acknowledged. Jeff knew what he was talking about.
There you go.
And not be community noted. I got community noted, Chad.
I still am not comfortable with what that is. I'm still
Let me tell you
confused.
what happens. You don't have to be right or wrong. You could be just any old slapdick nobody.
And this is on Twitter?
Yes.
Right? Okay.
I wrote a tweet that Kyle Flood basically had one super blue chip prospect while he was at Rutgers, and he turned that guy into an NFL player. So this is the thing. Why do people argue with me that don't know what they're talking about? Somebody community noted that tweet, meaning that anytime anybody was to read the tweet, they would read the correction. And the correction was like, while Kyle Flood was at Rutgers, he never signed a super blue chip prospect. Anthony Davis! It happened! And I screenshotted it, the ranking, the picture, but like can't fix the community note. They've given the power on Twitter to fuck sticks. That's what they've done.
Yeah.
They've given the power. And here's the thing. I wouldn't trust people in Oklahoma to fucking put gas in my car. Why would I give them the power to put community notes on anything other than crystal meth, watered down beer, places in Texas to get tattoos, and bad Toby Keith songs? That's what they should. That's the extent of the community notes that anyone from the the state of Oklahoma should be allowed to write. If it involves anything else, we need to be able to assume they don't know what they're talking about.
Everybody, call your friends. We've dialed up just the right amount of flu-induced Jeff Ketchum that we are getting ourselves a hell of a house divided today. I'm liking this energy. I'm really enjoying this energy.
One person, Chad, said, super blue chip. You made that up. Yes, I did. And you know what it means.
I made it up. I told you what it means. And technically everything's made up. So what are you talking about?
Yeah, everything's made up at one point or another.
Oh,
thank you for giving me credit for creating this new thing. You actually know what it means.
Oh my God.
And you told me that it's wrong.
Mm.
See, Chad, man, sometimes
it's a shame.
I used to have a buddy of mine, and he used to call it the stupid person rule. I am not signing off on this. This is not me endorsing this idea. But this was a guy who felt like everybody should be able to carry a hammer in their car.
Here we go.
And that if somebody did something stupid, like truly stupid in their car, you get to get out of your car with your hammer and just go beat the shit out of the car. Like you're not murdering somebody, but there's got to be like a part of the car that's dedicated where people get to beat the crap out of your car because you did stupid stuff.
Yeah, actually. Yeah. Clint, I agree with you. The I don't give a shit today catch, I'm really enjoying it. Not that Catch shows up to every show giving a shit, but just today really feels like we're dialed in. I feel like I need to figure out if he's got an enemies list nearby or a grievance list he needs to go through. Like we need to have like a Catch Festivus today.
Christian, I've got the flu. Shut up.
Yeah. Fair enough. All right. Let's see.
I don't like to lay down without feeling like my body's going to hemorrhage in pain. Christian, I tell you what, let's see which one happens first.
There you go. We do have a couple more bills to pay. We may get buy or sell in. We're going to see if Catch can get to the finish line today. We will see. Right now, I'm going to remind you about this glorious place called Deep Eddy Vodka Tasting Room. It's out there in Dripping Springs. Weather's nice. Yeah, I know it's December, but you know what the weather's like right now. Get on out there. Indoor seating, outdoor seating. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. There are your hours up there. Get on out there. Combine it with that Crimson Creek Smokehouse barbecue. It's a great time out there. Have some of the cocktails, maybe have a tasting as well. You can learn a lot about the vodka, Deep Eddy Vodka. They are all about having a great time. Obviously, they want you to do it responsibly. Make sure to get your DD and or ride share set up when you head out there, and make sure you tell them you heard about it on the Orange Bloods Live, Deep Eddy Vodka, and that beautiful tasting room. All right. If you want to throw us a super chat, we will get to that because Catch is in a mood. He is absolutely in a mood. Sandman's going Whataburger. He's just calling it spicy catch. Spicy ketchup. That's right. I like the regular a little better than I like the spicy. In terms of that.
Close.
I like this though. Yes, a Festivus for the Catchivus. Yes, it is kind of maybe a day of grievances for Catch a little bit. We've been talking Portal. Keep your eyes and ears peeled for Portal stories at orangebloods.com. Eric Singleton on campus. We've discussed that. We discussed of course, Texas got the two defensive guys over the weekend. Catch, at this point, any other Portal stuff in your head that we need to get to, or do you want to be wrapping up here?
No, I think we've touched on the portal, unless we wanted to talk about what other schools are doing in the portal. But I think I'm much more interested in talking about Texas and Clemson.
Okay. And that is obviously, man, what are we freaking 4 days away now from this playoff game for Texas. We can certainly get into that. In fact, I got a buy or sell for you that does involve the game. So you want to jump into buy or sell here?
Yeah, I didn't make any buy or sell questions for you, so I'm going to have to make those up.
It's all right. Okay, we got that one taken care of. All right, we'll do this and see where the conversation leads us because there's some good Texas football mixed in. Let's start here, Catch. Buy or sell number one. You think Texas should do whatever it takes to get Eric Singleton?
Buy. It's not my money.
There you go. And again, I saw him ranked yesterday as the second best guy in all of the portal after a quarterback, which obviously Texas doesn't need one of those. Catch, how about College Station? Buy or sell number two. You think Micah Hudson will be a really good get for A&M?
Buy. I think he's a special talent. Had a miserable year in Lubbock, partly because those people out there will fuck up anything. And I tried to warn that kid. I tried to say, man, I don't care where you go, but don't go there.
Yeah.
Why would you go to a place where nobody like you has ever succeeded before? He doesn't even last 5 minutes. There were some injury issues there. I don't know why in the hell he picked Texas A&M. I wouldn't want to go play in that shitty offense, but I do think that he's going to be a good player.
Aggie's also apparently getting one of the Mississippi State guys out of the portal also. All right, Catch, buy or sell number three. Let's get Christmassy. This holiday season, if you and the family could only watch one of these movies, Christmas Vacation, It's a Wonderful Life, and Love Actually, you'd pick Jimmy Stewart every time.
The whole family's got to watch?
Whole family, wife, both kids, all four of you are going to be watching.
Now, look, there's no question in my mind that if it was me, It's a Wonderful Life.
Okay.
But it's pretty dark.
It is. Now, but the other two, I'm wondering, are the other two a little too adult for your kid?
Love Actually is too adult for my kids.
Because I think I might have picked three movies that as I think it through, I'm like, wait a minute.
Like, I don't want to have to explain why the Brad Pitt stand-in is like going doggy style on the other model. Like, I don't want to have to explain that to my kids in the next 7 days.
Fair enough. I should have put Rudolph or Frosty in there, shouldn't I?
So my choice is Suicide.
Spoiler alert.
I didn't give the movie away. It's just
no, you didn't.
The movie.
You didn't give it away at all.
Completely inappropriate sexual stuff.
Right? Probably,
which I like and will partake in. I guess of the three you've given me, we would have to watch Christmas Vacation.
Christmas Vacation, which I think is a PG-13. So you're okay there. I mean, your kids
at the end of the day, you're not getting suicide or somebody boinking a woman while he's cupping her boobs.
See? Exactly. It's the cleanest of the three. It really is. The Griswolds, the clean, wholesome Christmas.
Hey, real quick side story. When I was like 7 or 8, we did blood tests to prove that my father was my father. And it just so happened that my grandfather lived in Waco. So once the test proved who my dad was, we started up a relationship with my grandfather. One of the first things that my grandfather did with me was to take me to Richland Mall. And he said, pick a movie. And I picked European Vacation.
Ooh.
And let me just tell you.
Interesting.
On the day or the weekend that you meet your paternal grandfather, at age 8, sitting through the boob scene, uncomfortable.
That's just called getting to know you.
To the movies again.
That is getting to know you right there. Oh my God, that is fantastic. All right, so Chris, I see your super chat. We will get to it. We also have a bonus buy or sell from one of y'all that we'll get to. Before that, Catch, let's go to Saturday. Buy or sell, you got Texas winning easy versus Clemson, 14+.
Yeah, I'm going to go buy. I don't think Clemson's ready for this Texas defense. They've at times had trouble scoring points against teams that can score. And they've really had a hard – they've done a good job of when they score their points early, and then a lot of times they hang on for dear life. They tried to do it against South Carolina, and it didn't work. They tried to do it against SMU, and it kind of worked in the end, but it shouldn't have been a game, and they just – the best of Clemson happens early, and then they really run out of ideas. I don't think that they're going to have very many ideas at all that are successful against Texas. I think Texas wins comfortably. I don't know if it's, the sexiest performance that we've ever seen, but I think Texas will hit the 30s. I don't think Clemson breaks 17. Texas covers.
All right. And finally, Ketch, let's go to the NFL. Buy or sell number 5. AFC champs, the Buffalo Bills.
Buy. I could not have been more impressed by what they did this weekend to go into Detroit, and they slapped Dan Campbell's team around like they stole something from under the tree. It was just completely – it's one thing if there had just been a good game. It was another thing where it was like, whoa, what – 42, 49. What's happening? How come every time the Bills get the ball, they score? It was the most impressive performance I've seen from an NFL team this season. You read my mind.
Here's why I've been thinking so much about the Bills lately. Catch, think of it this way. This weekend, they're going to take those 4 teams in the AFC. They're going to have them play on a Saturday. Then on Christmas Day, they're going to switch them around and have those same 4 teams play each other again 4 days later. Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Houston, and Kansas City. The Detroit Lions have had more defensive injuries. Everybody but Night Train Lane has gotten hurt in the last week. And the Buffalo Bills finished their season Patriots, Jets, Patriots. Everybody just keep that in mind because and they'll all be noon kicks. No weird schedules, no tough games. Bills just get to finish out. They might get the 1 seed and then look out. Just something to keep in mind. All right, Catch. Somebody threw an extra one at you here. Hang on. Here it is. Clint, buy or sell number 6. Catch hates life today, but not as much as he hates A&M's offense and the Quinn superstar talk. It's a weird way to phrase the end.
I don't even know what the Quinn superstar talk is.
I'm not sure what he means by that either. I'm not sure what Clint meant.
And I promise you, I don't hate A&M's offense more than I hate how I feel.
I would hope
I feel really nauseous right now. And I know I'm not going to throw up because it's not been anything that's happened in the last 4 days, but it feels like it could happen. And so either that or I could shit my pants in the next 10 minutes. So, that's all things considered.
All right. Catch, before I flash this up, I don't want to make it worse. If I flash, somebody is literally sending an idea of something you could mix up and drink and feel better. Do you want to see it or not?
I mean, nothing's going to make me feel worse than I already do.
Okay. So that's a yes. Put it up or don't put it up?
Put it up.
Put it up. Okay. $5 super chat from Chris. What's up, fellas? Catch, mix you up some pineapple juice, kale, green apple, and ginger root smoothie. Drink 1 a day. It will get rid of that flu. Right.
Oh, Chris is going with science.
Chris going to bust it out for you.
That doesn't sound awful. So smoothies have been I've been going to Smoothie King for the last few days. It's the only thing I've consumed. Chris, if I find anything that looks like that at Smoothie King, what the hell?
Yeah, that could work. All right, Catch. That is buy or sell for me. I don't see any more super chats. Why don't you roll, brother? Why don't you roll? I appreciate it.
I have at least 3 good questions.
Oh, you do? You want to do buy? All right, go ahead.
And one of them's good. Buy or sell number 1. Arch Manning will play at least 3 snaps on Saturday.
I'll sell. I'd love for Sark to prove me wrong, but I don't see that. A play or 2, yeah, but more than 3, I'll sell.
Buy or sell number 2, all chalk this weekend in the opening round matchups of the playoffs.
I'm going to sell out of principle, and I think it could be Tennessee. I think Ryan Day could be in for like a weird late night storm on Saturday night. I don't absolutely trust them to beat Tennessee for sure. I'll take the other 3 home win, and I'll say Ohio State may slip.
Buy or sell number 3. I've been laid up in bed for a few days.
Mm-hmm.
I came across, so I was trying to do is watch movies that have Oscar potential.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a movie called The Substance.
Okay.
Demi Moore is being talked about as a possible actress nomination for the Oscars.
Okay.
So I watched it. Now, I thought of both you and Wendy together on this.
Okay.
On one hand, there's more Demi Moore nudity in this movie than any movie that she's ever done in her entire life. I'd say by 10 times.
Wow. So everything combined, it's even more than that.
She's naked the whole goddamn movie.
Gotcha.
I mean, if you like Demi Moore,
this is your movie.
And you like her boobs, and you like her butt and legs and everything.
All of them. Okay.
But as is the case in life, they ain't just gonna give us that and let us be. Oh, the magic movie where we just get to look at Demi Moore naked for 2 hours.
Uh-huh.
No. In addition to just all of the nudity, it's one of the sickest, most disturbing movies I've ever seen in my entire life.
Damn, and you've seen a few movies now.
And by the end of it, I was fast forwarding through like the final 10 minutes.
Okay.
Just to get to the end, which is 1000% disgusting.
So it sounds like you're telling I'm assuming this sounds like you're telling my wife and myself not to watch this movie.
Doesn't your wife like horror?
Oh, my wife likes horror movies.
So she might dig this.
Okay, so she should watch it. I probably should stay away.
No, let me ask my buy or sell.
Oh, sorry.
Buy or sell. If me telling you that you get to see Demi Moore and there's another woman in the movie who's supposed to be a younger version of Demi Moore, and you see her naked all the time too. In fact, there are stretches of the movie where they're just naked bodies on top of each other.
Uh-huh.
Buy or sell. More Demi Moore nudity than you could ever dream to take in. But you have to settle for all of the gross stuff that comes later. You'll buy. Give me the nudity.
I guess I'll buy if my wife wants to watch it. If my wife wants to watch it, I'll buy. But it does not sound like it would be the right choice.
No,
it sounds like it would ultimately be something I would regret.
Oh, you would?
Yeah, I think I'd regret it.
It's unfair, Chad. Because
honestly, okay, you know what? I'll just rewatch Striptease like 5 times.
You watch the movie and you're like, fuck. All right, Demi, you look good.
I think I'm out.
Walk around and be naked the whole time. I like that. Something's growing out of your back. That's weird, but you're still naked.
I read a review. I read your review in 10 Thoughts. I can see your face describing it now, and I don't think it's just the flu that's making you describe it that way. I'm selling. I'm out. I am out.
Imagine how bad a movie would have to be.
Yeah.
Where you're like, you know what? I'm good. No Demi Moore nudity.
I'm out. Unless somebody can go through and just edit the nudity parts that don't involve the sick parts, I'm out. I have to be out.
Buy or sell number 4. There's a college football game tonight, and you can tell me who's playing.
Oh, wow. Hang on. I think I can, because I was peeking by it's Memphis and West Virginia.
I have no idea.
I think that's who it is. I think it's like the Boca Raton Bowl or something. I think those are the two teams that are playing.
And finally, buy or sell number 5. It's not really a buy or sell. It's just a wish for Randy Moss to get well.
Oh, God, bye. Absolutely. And hopefully we will have a great story of Randy Moss beating cancer. He says he's cancer-free, I believe. So he's kind of still in the recovery part of that. But obviously the great wishes that he's been getting. Justin Jefferson's celebration last night was awesome. He is an absolute NFL god, and you just continue to feel it. Every time somebody tells you a story about Randy, meeting Randy, being around Randy, just stuff like that, it's impressive. So, yes, bye. Obviously, hope Randy gets better very soon and has a great cancer-free Christmas. That sounds like the best wish for everybody, a cancer-free Christmas. I think Moss gets
Amen.
one of those. All right, Catch. I do see a couple super chats. Are you still good? You got it.
We'll knock him out.
You want to knock him out? All right. ATX Bates, $4.99. Tip jar for Catch plowing through for us degenerates. Take like 4 rogue gummies, turn on the Outsiders from last night, and giggle for hours. The Outsiders did turn weird when Bo Edge expressed serious dislike for Thunderstruck as the fourth quarter song, and then the Outsiders chatters just kept giving the worst ideas for what song should be played before the fourth quarter. It was...
What was the worst example?
Cinnamon Girl by Neil Young, I think, was probably the worst example that I would have heard. Bohemian Rhapsody was suggested. I thought that was a pretty bad idea. There was a lot of horrific ideas. James also threw in this super chat, $4.99. Buy or sell. These last 3 Cowboys games will determine the head coach faith. I want Vrabel or another young coach. Feel better, Catch. Hook 'em horns. I mean, that's a sell, James. Don't ever assume that football will determine anything in Jerry Jones's mind.
Let me tell you the thing that disrupted my life the most. Last few days, Cowboys beating Carolina. And then it felt like on the Red Zone channel, they just had to put Cowboys dominate Panthers. Come on.
It was kind of a domination.
I mean, I don't need to see Cooper Rush throw a goddamn ball the rest of the season. Why are we doing this? Why did we invest a premium draft pick at the quarterback position behind a guy that we're paying half the national debt, only to let a guy in Cooper Rush who has no future with this club, let him go out and live his dream for who? For what? Him?
What do you mean no future? This is his 19th year with the Cowboys. Like his whole career has been the Cowboys.
Fucking makes me hate the Cowboys is what it does.
Yeah, it is frustrating. One last dollar from Justin. Nice super chat. Thank you, Justin. We appreciate you there. All right, Catch. I'll pay a couple bills and close the door. You get out and rest a little bit. Okay. All right? I will see you tomorrow. Jeff Ketchum, ladies and gentlemen. He's fighting through the flu. He's fighting through the flu. He got through it, though. He got through it as so much as you can get through it that way. All right, we will wrap up here. If you want to get in a super chat at the end, feel free to do that. Let me make sure I got everybody's super chat. We'll get you a couple more things before we head out. And one of them, I'm going to talk about a little sinus and snoring specialist. One of my favorite places in the world. This one's simple. If you snore like crazy, you think you might have sleep apnea. Maybe you have sleep apnea, and you went to some other place and they just wasn't taken care of. Didn't get the attention it needed. Well, this is the very latest cutting edge stuff in ear, nose, and throat. If you've heard about something called Inspire, they've got that as an option. If you know about CPAP, that world has developed so much over time. My wife at one point tried the CPAP and it just didn't work for her. But right now she's got a CPAP and she loves it. She loves it. She can't imagine going to bed without that thing. And she sleeps like a baby now and gets up refreshed because she needs to, because she's got one of those early get up in the morning kind of jobs. So get all that taken care of. sinus infections and allergies. They can get rid of your allergies for good as well, just like they did for me back in 2017. If you want to click on that QR code, that'll get you to sinussnoringent.com, 601-0303. I know some of you have checked them out and mentioned that you heard it on Orange Bloods Live. I do appreciate it. If you could mention that, it will mean a lot to me because it means something to them to know kind of where that word comes through. They want to know how people are finding out about them. Sinus and snoring specialists. Feel clear, rested, and healthy. Ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you are happy and healthy and ready for this Texas Clemson game. Talk a little bit more about that before we exit. Oscar throws us a 499. Cooper Rush is not miles behind Dak. I don't know what anyone says. I don't care what anyone says. And that is telling of why Dak should not have $60 million in his bank account. Man, Oscar, that is an interesting, deep conversation. But as a Cowboys fan, I keep waiting for somebody to take the – been waiting, you know. Can somebody take that job from him? And it just doesn't happen. So – and to catch his point, then once you get Trey Lance and you don't do anything with it, it's like, why'd you get him? If Cooper Rush is just your backup forever, okay. But then why would you waste that pick that you could have used on something else? Why would you waste it on getting Trey Lance? That part didn't make sense to me. So yeah, miles behind Dak. I don't know how to compute all that stuff, but you know, I don't think it's super. I don't think they're super, super close. I don't think that's the issue. Ultimately, there's a discussion about Dak and does he deserve all that money and all that stuff. But please don't make that argument. Is Dak just a little bit better than Cooper Rush? I mean, let's give him enough respect that I think we can agree that he's better than that. This one comes in from Flo. Phlo, yeah. Rush is atrocious. Man can't throw the ball further than 6 arms, yards, and has a noodle arm. I'm assuming that was a 6-yard reference. I'm assuming. Yeah. And wait, here, hang on. Did somebody get to the actual issue? Where'd it go? Yeah. Now this is a fair point, Oscar. That may be true. You'll never win a title with Dak making $60 million a year. They were not able to take advantage of there. Now, here's another one. Yeah, you took away his running back, and he got blown out every home game he played in. Running back, that's an important area of that team. They can't run, and they can't stop the run. I'm just going to keep saying it. That's all that matters to me about the Cowboys. They cannot effectively run the ball. They cannot stop the run. And against certain teams, Rico Dowdle starts to feel like a real running back. And then they play a real defense and you realize, oh, wait a minute. No, he's not. And you know what that reminds me of? When you have a team, Texas fans, you may not ever find this out. It depends on how you schedule in the SEC. But when you have an SEC team that you root for, when they schedule one of those November pillow non-conference games against a bad team, you can convince yourself that anybody's a great running back. You will. Because all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, did you see who got 120 yards on 9 carries? Holy smokes. It's a mirage. It's an absolute mirage. That's what Rico Dowdle getting big yards does for me. Because then you stop yourself and go, wait a minute. He did it against the Giants. And he did it against who'd they just play? Who's the bad? Oh, Carolina. Right? They did it, doing it against the bad teams. You've got to realize what you're watching for that situation. All right, Texas and Clemson coming up on Saturday. Obviously, a 3:00 kick. Let's remind you again: come out and see us at Texas Card House, TCH Social Austin. Those specials start at 2. What's the deal? After 2:00, when those specials start, you just find me. Scream out, Stella! And I will get you a free $1 draft, or if you want to look at it a different way, I get you half a jellyfish. Either way. You want a $1 for free? You want a half a jellyfish? We can do that. First 20 people to find me and scream Stella will get $1 for a draft, and that is courtesy of our man Big Cheddar who threw that at us. I don't know if Big Cheddar is in this picture, but a lot of folks are. Jason Sukamel and my wife and ATX Bates and our man Blake, the super producer. There will be a good group gathered on Saturday. And like I said, we'll go high school championship games, we'll go college games, we'll go NFL games to make sure everybody gets to see what they want. But obviously our big focus will be Texas and Clemson in that 3:00 game. But we'll make sure we have all the other games on as well. So come on out and see us at TCH Social Austin. Remember to try the Bad Beat Bacon. I'm so glad I spelled it out because of the confusion in the chat earlier that I actually spelled that out. Yes, not B-E-E-T, B-E-A-T, the Bad Beat Bacon. It is fantastic. And just to remind you, that screen in the lower right, every one of the little screens is 55 inches. So it's a 16 by 1 in the middle. It's 4 4x1s on the outside. We'll throw Texas and Clemson in the middle. We'll have an NFL game on one of those other screens. We'll have a high school championship game on another one of those screens. I'll try to find something else to throw in on the other two. It's a good time. It is a good time out at TCH Social Austin. Come see us, 183 and Anderson Mill. Have yourself a great time. The food is excellent too. Everybody that goes out there just loves the food. My wife here's the other thing I like about TCH Social Austin. I love a good place where it's a simple item, but you're recommending their version of it. I've told y'all the salmon out at TCH Social Austin it's incredible. I've had it 2 or 3 times now. It's so good. I may have it Saturday. You know what my wife had? She couldn't stop talking about a salad. There was one of their salads that she's like, my God. She goes, I know it sounds stupid, but the salad was really good. I may go out there and have it again. And she's going to come out, watch her Steelers, watch the Longhorns against Clemson. So come on out and join us. All right, let me scan the chat real quick. Let's see. Binks says, Chad, I'm yelling Stella from DKR at 4 on the dot to get you half a jellyfish. There you go. No, this would be for you to be there. That's how that would work. Can you do jelly? Did they have jellyfish at DKR? I bet they're not $2. I bet you they're not. Thank you to On the Other Hand jumping in and saying welcome back to Catch. I let him go here a couple minutes before, but I'm really glad he was able to give us something today. You could tell he was feeling it, but he did try to power through it, and I do appreciate him for that. Always good to see Mr. Ketchum. Hopefully he'll be even better tomorrow. Maybe there's updated portal news tomorrow. Eric Singleton on campus today. Let's just finish off with this image on the screen. Check out orangebloods.com. Jason will have the 321 article coming out. I'm thinking Jason might have a bizarre story to tell all of you about something that just happened at his house involving automobiles. That story may be out there, but also more importantly, all the recruiting stuff that you're going to want between National Signing Day and that other National Signing Day, plus all the portal stuff that is there. So we hope you enjoyed it today. We hope you check out orangebloods.com for the very latest on Eric Singleton. And I just remembered we went through the whole show and I didn't give Catch the Portal Combat intro. I was going to give him the nice Christmas version and I didn't even get to do it. Let's just do it at the end. One time at the end. Come on. And we wish you a happy portal season. We hope your team gets everything they want and you don't lose as many players has. Check out Football with Friends tomorrow at 9. And speaking of recruiting, Jason and I will have the recruiting hour tomorrow at 10 o'clock as we get a little bit closer to Texas and Clemson. We are 4 days away. By the way, let me read a little bit to you. I haven't read the whole article yet, but at orangebloods.com, I'm reading from Cody Carpentier's Behind Enemy Lines article. This is Dabo on his starting running back, Phil Maffa. Quote, he's got to have postseason surgery regardless, but he's going to give everything he's got. He was better in the last game. We got who we got. Nobody's 100%. I doubt everybody for Texas is 100%. We got our guys. That's why we went and signed those guys for an opportunity. Really interested to see what Phil Maffa looks like. Can he give them? He's a big physical back when he's right, but he didn't look right against SMU. And now Dabo's telling the media that was as right as he's looked. Like that was a better version of Maffa, but now it's 2 weeks. So is it an even better version of him? Does he look a little more like himself? That's going to be something to watch. Maffa wears number 7 as the running back. The other 2 guys I've told you to watch for, Brenningstool, the tight end, wearing number 9, second leading catch guy. Antonio Williams is their leading catch and yards guy. He wears 0, but the other guy I would tell you to focus on is number 12. That kid from Midlothian can play. Bryant Wesco. Do not let him run free down the field. I'm interested to see how Texas deals with him. How do Barron and Muhammad and Makuba and the rest? I see Taff. A big game for him. It's a big game for everybody, but you do think through the logic of all of it where Taff and Ethan Burke, let's just pick those 2 guys specifically because we know they'll start, but Burke and Taff to face Cade Klubnik in a game like this has to be special for them. They'll have to be big too. You don't want the country to know the name Bryant Wesco coming out of this game because that'll mean he had a big day. Texas needs to control him a little bit. All right, Texas and Clemson getting a little bit closer. Remember, it's a TNT game, TNT and Max. So maybe if you're out and about running around Christmas shopping or whatever, you can, stream it on your phone if you need to, stream it on a device on Max. That's a little extra way to help you out. Or if you have a way to stream TNT, do it that way. Or just come see us at TCH Social Austin. Cannot wait for that. I'm going to be living there on Saturday. I think I'm going to get down there by the 11 o'clock start for that Penn State SMU game. All right, everybody have a great rest of your Tuesday. Rest up if you're like Catch and you need to rest up. Get better if you're like Catch and you're trying to get over something right now. And check out Football with Friends at 6 o'clock tonight. Thank you all for liking, subscribing, getting your notifications. Thank you for getting us over 12 million views. Remember to subscribe if you haven't. Remember to like it on the way out if you didn't like the show on the way in. All that stuff helps us. Like, subscribe, getting your notifications. It'll make it an even better Christmas for us if you do that. We hope you guys are having a great Christmas season. We'll be back tomorrow for a Wednesday show at noon. Hopefully we have Catch even more revved up. Maybe he'll give you more thoughts on Oklahoma's portal and the Aggie offense.